Good afternoon and welcome once again to Joliet, Illinois and Route 66 Stadium, the home of the CCAC tournament. We are on to game 2 in day number 3. It's the 10th game overall in this weekend's tournament. We're on to the semifinals later tonight. St. Xavier against Olivet Nazarene will be playing at 7 o'clock for a spot in the championship game. But right now, two teams just looking to keep their tournament hopes alive. It's an elimination game. The University of St. Francis and Trinity Christian College. My name is Terry Bonadonna. I'm on the call for today's game. And the Saints are out in the field. They'll be the home team. Let's take a look at the lineups first for the visitors from Trinity. Sam Herzog leads off in left field. Chris Baker is in center. Jake Thole bats third behind the plate. The catcher and cleanup batter is Alex Nisley, batting fifth. Josh Caceres, he plays second base. Will Kulcher is in right. Austin Wood hits seventh at shortstop. Ryan Stayskull is the first baseman and hitting ninth. The designated hitter, Brandon Remersma. Starting pitcher for the Fighting Saints facing that lineup, senior right-hander Michael Quirum. Quirum, the right-hander, stands atop the mound right now, facing Sam Herzog and ready to go to begin today's ball game. First pitch is taken for strike one, and we're underway. 1:18 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Michael Quirum is making his 13th start of the year. He's 6-5 with a 3.78 ERA. In 78 and 2/3 innings, he's allowed 48 runs, 33 of them earned on 93 hits. He has struck out 54. He's walked only 14, and he misses inside. It's a 1-1 count on Sam Herzog. Quirum has allowed opponents to hit 288 off of him, so he gives up his fair share of hits, but very rarely runs into problems with walks as he misses high here. The count is 2-1. Sam Herzog, the start of a very formidable TCC lineup. 2-1 is drilled out to right field, down the line. Trouble for St. Francis if it's fair, but it's a foul ball. And the count is 2-2. Hit it off the wall, down the right field line, maybe 10 feet or so wide of the foul pole. That would have been extra bases for sure if Herzog had been able to keep it in fair territory. Instead, the count evens up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Herzog, a .259 hitter. .444 is his on-base percentage. He's walked 34 times this season. And he's 1 ball away from doing that right here as he takes high. 3-2 the count. Not a lot of power on Herzog. He's got 4 doubles, a triple, and no homers. 16 runs batted in. He's the table setter at the start of this lineup. And he sets the table here with a walk. He takes the 3-2 pitch inside. Leadoff man is aboard for Trinity. That is just the 15th man that Michael Quirum has walked this year in nice 79 innings pitched. So a bit of a surprise to start the game from the St. Francis dugout. I'm sure nobody expected it to go that way, but a good at bat from Sam Herzog. He's able to work his way down to first base, and the batter now is Chris Baker. Baker, a big hitter for the Trolls, takes strike one, hitting .367. 6 home runs, 38 RBIs for the year. His on-base percentage is an even .500. And he takes a ball high. It's 1-1. So they've got a couple of guys at the top of this Trinity lineup who know how to find their way on base. Their team on-base percentage is a very impressive .421. They're hitting .313 as a ball club this year. As a pickoff throw over to first sends Herzog back to the bag. Offense has not been a problem this season for Trinity Christian. There's a ball outside, and the count moves to 2-1. 6 of 9 pitches have missed the zone in this first inning for Michael Quirum. No score. We're just underway here in the top of the first inning. Second game of the day. Baker swings and whacks it into right center field. That's a base hit. Herzog heads for third base. Baker trying for second. Chris Baker will make it into second base, standing up. It's a double. Herzog all the way over to third base. 2 on, nobody out. First inning. Trinity threatens to score first.
The catcher, Jake Thole.
Now it's Jake Thole, their best run producer. He's got 53 RBIs this year. And a chance for at least one more here. Runner at third base and nobody out. Thole's hitting .345. Tied for the team lead with 8 homers on the season. Michael Querum off to a slow start today, trying to buckle down here in a big moment. Fires strike one over the outside corner on Jake Thole. These two teams have seen each other very recently. They played their 3-game season series just about a week ago. Querum pitched in one of those 3 games against the Trolls. Line drive to left side, diving grab made by Dustin Kroeb, and there's out number 1. And that was a run saver for Kroeb. Full extension to his right. He's able to lay out and make the catch off the bat. I thought that Jake Thole had just added to his RBI total. Kroeb would not allow it. It's a huge first out for Querum, and he's able to get it without a run scoring. Far from out of the woods, though. Alex Nile is the batter. .311 hitter, 8 homers, 50 RBIs. He takes ball 1. A lot of pop the front of this Trinity Christian lineup. These top 4 hitters all have on-base percentages of .397 or better. Strike over the outside corner, 1-1. 2 of them have 50 or more RBIs. 3 of the 4 are batting better than .300, and 2 of them hitting better than .340. Man on deck is not going to make things much easier. Josh Caceres is a .337 hitter. Nile pops it up to shallow left field. Coming in hard is Dolan Nicholson, and Nicholson makes the grab with the runners holding their positions at second and third base. No tag, and there's the second out of the inning. As I said, Josh Caceres, no picnic to try to retire, but Querum is 1 out away from walking the tightrope and getting across to the other side. No runs are in yet, despite the leadoff walk, followed by a Chris Baker double. They're at second and third. They were there with no outs. Now they're there with 2 outs. Dolan Nicholson able to make that last catch on a very shallow pop fly to left. The wind is blowing in. Should be beneficial to pitchers today as Caceres swings the first pitch and he pops it up on the infield. Kroeb right around second base, makes the catch and ends the inning. An incredible job by Michael Querum to get through the heart of an incredibly dangerous batting order and not allow a run despite Trinity's start to the inning. They had him at second and third, nobody out. Couldn't get anybody in as we head to the bottom of the first inning. It's a scoreless tie. After half an inning of play, we've got no score. Trinity Christian threatened with a walk and a double. They had runners at second and third, nobody out. But a line out thanks to a great diving grab made by Dustin Kroeb and then back-to-back pop-outs. The Trolls did not score, and now they'll send their starting pitcher John Vanderwall out to face this St. Francis lineup. Travis Schoonover leads off playing right field. Dustin Kroeb, whom you've already met, batting second at short. Joe McGuire is the designated hitter. Anthony Farron plays first base and bats cleanup. Third baseman is Josh Tesh. Dolan Nicholson hits sixth in left field. Adam Sabolka does the catching. John Peterson is at second base and hitting ninth. Center fielder Bailey Schultz. First pitch of the ball game from John Vanderwall is flailed at by Travis Schoonover for strike one. Vanderwall is making his 10th start of the year, his 14th appearance. He's 7-3 with a .374 ERA. He misses outside ball one on Schoonover. In 55 1/3 innings, He has allowed 31 runs, 23 of them earned on 65 hits, 43 strikeouts, 14 walks. Opponents are batting .294 against him. There's a ball outside, 2-1. Vanderwall has been arguably the second best pitcher on the staff this year behind Dan Voss, who's been arguably the best pitcher in the conference. Ball high, 3-1. The argument for Vanderwall being the second best on the team was certainly made by the all-conference teams that were released last week. He was named second team all-conference. That ball lined inside the first base line down to right field. Schoonover's got a base hit. Over to cut it off in the corner is Coulter. Can't field it cleanly, and Schoonover motors his way to second with a leadoff double. So both teams get the hitters going early. Trolls had a couple of scoring position runners in the first inning. Did not score. We'll see if St. Francis can turn the tides here. They've got a man in scoring position with nobody out as well. And the defensive hero of the last inning, Dustin Kroeb, now gets a chance with the stick. Kroeb, the shortstop, hitting .299, a homer, 14 RBIs this year. He takes the first pitch from Vanderwall for strike one. John Vanderwall is a sophomore from Orland Park, Illinois. 6'2" tall right-hander. Sets for the 0-1. And misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The two starting pitchers in today's game have combined to walk just 22 men in over 130 total innings between the two of them. So you would think we'd have a game without too many free base runners as Kroeb fouls it back, 1-2. But you don't always get exactly what you're expecting. Michael Quirum walked the first batter he faced today before pitching out of the jam. Vanderwall fell behind Schoonover 3-1 before Travis doubled down the right field line. Now it's 1-2 on Dustin Kroeb. Line drive into center field, and that's a base hit. Schoonover is held at third base. Back-to-back knocks to begin the ball game for St. Francis. They are at the corners with nobody out. Quirum was able to pitch out of his jam in the top of the first. Can Vanderwall respond in kind here in the bottom of the first inning? Batter is Joe McGuire. McGuire, the DH, is hitting .304. He's got 3 homers and 26 RBIs. His solo home run on Saturday evening marked the only run scored in the game by St. Francis in a 3-1 loss against Olivet Nazarene. McGuire takes ball 1 high. Olivet was able to win that game as a result of the pitching stifling the St. Francis hitters aside from McGuire's homer. And so they'll play later tonight with a chance to earn their way to the championship. Strike over the outside corner, 1-1. Schoonover's at third, Kroeb is at first with nobody out. Fair amount of offense already in this game. We've seen an extra base hit from each side. 3 total hits between the two teams here in the first inning. McGuire tries to add to the total. And he takes the ball outside. It's 2-1. St. Francis entered today's game with an overall record of 29-21. They went 20-9 during CCAC play and are 1-1 so far in the CCAC tournament. There's a pop-up hit by McGuire, shallow right field. Josh Caceres chases it back. Coming in is the right fielder, Coulter. He makes the catch, and the runners hold. There's out number 1. Big first out recorded by the right-hander John Vanderwall. As Coulter is able to make that catch in shallow right field, not allowing Schoonover to tag. But a tough test now for Vanderwall as he tries to get through Anthony Farron. Farron's had a tough tournament so far, particularly in Game 2 on Saturday against Olivet. The 3-1 loss. He's hitting .395 for the year. 5 home runs, 36 RBIs. Runner goes, swung on and foul tipped for strike 1. Kroeb has to return to first base, and Anthony Farron finds himself in a small hole very quickly. Trinity Christian fell in their opening round game to Robert Morris by a 4-3 score. They came back and won a tight one against against Indiana South Bend on Saturday. That was a 3-2 final score, and it came down to the wire. Ball outside, 1-1. Trolls were able to get a walk-off sacrifice fly from Austin Wood in the bottom of the 9th inning to beat the Titans 3-2 on Saturday, keeping them alive. Farron reaches out and gets a piece of that ball, pushing it foul. The count is 1-2. So a couple of very close pitchers duels in this tournament so far for Trinity Christian. They and their opponents have each scored 6 runs. Chance for more offense today as both teams have done a good job of getting first inning base runners. Neither team has scored yet. Farron looking to change that, takes the ball in the dirt with Kroeb on the move. He's able to steal second base. The count is 2-2 on Farron. Kroeb was running with the pitch when it hit the dirt. Jake Thole had no chance of even making a throw, let alone getting the out at second base. That takes the force play out of the equation at second base. 2-2 on Farron with 2 on and 1 out. No score in the first inning. Pitch from John Vanderwall. Tap to the right side. Schoonover is going to try to score. The ball takes a weird bounce, picked up by the first baseman Ryan Stayskull, and he flips it to Vanderwall, covering the bag for out number 2. St. Francis is on the board as Travis Schoonover scores without a throw. It's 1-0 Fighting Saints in the first inning. Farron drives in his 37th run of the year on the ground out. Kind of a weird play. Schoonover was going as soon as the ball was hit. It was hit softly enough that Stayskull had to charge it. Probably wouldn't have had a play at the plate regardless, but it looked like he was gearing up potentially to throw to the plate, and then it took a bizarre hop. And at that point, once he fielded it, the only thing he could do was flip to first and get the out there. Kroeb advanced to third on the play. He's there with 2 outs now as Josh Tesh takes ball 1. Tesh is a .339 hitter with a home run and 17 RBIs for the season. 1-0. He drives this ball out to deep left field. Chasing it back is Sam Herzog, and Herzog's able to pull up and make the catch. Thought that ball might have been hit a little bit harder than it was, but again, the wind today and the weather conditions are favoring the pitchers. And right there, Vanderwall got hit hard, but got out of the inning. Just 1 run scores on the 2 hits. And as we head to the second, it's 1-0 St. Francis. We're into the second inning, and a good start for St. Francis as they lead Trinity Christian 1-0. Will Coulter leads things off for the Trolls in the second. First pitch from Michael Querum is a slow breaking ball over for strike 1. Will Coulter hitting .303, 3 home runs, 29 RBIs. Number 6 in Justin Heisman's batting order today. Big swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Trinity sent 5 men to the plate in the first but didn't score. Herzog walked, Baker doubled. They were at second and third with nobody out. And they may be ruining that missed opportunity as the game goes on. There's a swing and a miss. Culture goes down on 3 pitches, and he strikes out to begin the second inning. First strikeout of the ball game for Michael Quirum, and it brings up Austin Wood. St. Francis had a similar opportunity. They had runners at first and third with nobody out, and eventually second and third with 1 out. They did get a run in, but they also left a man at third base. So I'm sure they didn't get quite everything that they wanted either. Austin Wood pops up the first pitch to the right side of the infield. Drifting back onto the outfield grass, John Peterson makes the catch for out number 2. After the first 2 batters reached, Quirum has retired 5 men in a row, and that brings up Ryan Stayskull with 2 outs and the bases empty. Stayskull's hitting .288, 7 extra base hits, 20 runs batted in this year. Hitting for the first time in this game. First pitch from Quirum hits the outside corner. That's called strike 1. St. Francis is the home team for this game. They're wearing their full white uniforms, white hats with brown bills. Trinity Christian, as the visitors, wears their gray pants with the light blue tops, underscored by navy blue. Stayskull takes a ball. It's 1-1. And navy blue is the color of their caps. Loser of this game is done for the year. The winner goes on. Ground ball to the left side. Gloved by the shortstop Dustin Krob. Throw to first is just in time, about a half step ahead of Stayskull, who is hustling it out. But he is out number 3. It's a 1-2-3 inning on just 7 pitches from Michael Quirum. We'll head to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Fighting Saints. One nothing St. Francis into the bottom of the second inning. Dolan Nicholson is set to lead things off against John Vanderwall. Schoonover doubled and scored on a fair and ground out in the first inning. Hence the early run for the Fighting Saints. Nicholson, Sobolka, Peterson due up in the second. Dolan Nicholson's a left-handed hitting left fielder. And he takes the first pitch strike. Dolan Nicholson is hitting .280 this year. He's 23 for 82 at the plate with 9 runs scored, 2 doubles, 6 runs batted in. He takes a sweeper low and in, 1-1. Last 3 games of the season for these 2 teams came against one another. Wasn't originally scheduled that way. There were some rainouts late in the year. The weather has not been really good this spring in the Chicagoland area. which doesn't bode well for the Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference. As Nicholson takes a strike, it's 1-2. St. Francis beat Trinity a week ago Saturday, or actually it would make that a week ago Friday, so 10 days ago now. There's a pop-up into shallow center field. Chris Baker comes on for it, and Baker makes the grab. One away. 4 in a row set down by Vanderwall.
The catcher, Adam Sabolka.
It looked like Trinity Christian was going to win that game a week ago Friday. 6-5 was the final score. St. Francis came out on top. They scored 3 runs in the top of the 7th inning, and that was game 1 of the doubleheader, so the 7th inning was the last one. Game was kept alive on a drop third strike, and they kept on hitting, scoring a few more runs after that. Here's Adam Sabolka, who's had a pretty nice tournament at the plate so far. Takes a ball behind him, 1-0. Guess we could call that inside. Looked like it slipped out of Vanderwall's hand. The rain has started to fall very lightly, not to a point that I think it's had very much impact on anything that's gone on so far. 1-0 on Sabolka. He takes up and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Adam Sabolka's hitting .216 with 3 home runs. He's driven in 25 for the season. He takes a high strike, 2-1. After St. Francis pulled off that improbable come-from-behind win in Game 1 of last Friday's doubleheader, they dropped the next 2 games, Game 2 of the doubleheader, and then the single game that was played here on Wednesday. Sabolka fouls it back, out of play, strike 2. Last Wednesday, they played in this ballpark with Trinity coming out on top 8-5. Kind of an odd game in which neither team really threw any of their top pitchers. With the conference tournament starting just 2 days later, they were all being saved up. Ball outside, 3-2 on Sabolka, 1 out, nobody on. Saints lead by 1 in the 2nd inning. John Vanderwall is setting for the payoff pitch. And it's fouled back by Sabolka, a good at bat. He'll see a 7th pitch, and maybe more after that, who knows. It's a nice warm morning for Roosevelt versus Robert Morris, Game 1 of today's quartet of baseball action. Started at 10 a.m. Temperature was up around 70 degrees. The sun was out. The sun is no longer out. Sabolka fouls away another one. And it's no longer 70 degrees either, I don't think. Temperature is dropping. The clouds rolling in. And again, it has started to rain, although just slightly. But that was the forecast. It was always supposed to get worse as the day went on. And so it has, so far at least. Another 3-2. Sabolka draws the walk. He takes ball 4 up and in. Good battle from Adam Sabolka. First walk issued by Vanderwall. The Saints have a 1-out base runner. Batter is John Peterson. Peterson stands in with a .235 batting average, 14 RBIs. Sabolka heads back to the dugout. Noah Carraro comes in as the courtesy runner. Vanderwall pitching out of the stretch. Sets for the first pitch. Misses outside. Carraro on the run. The throw to second. Not in time. Close play. Jake Thole made a pretty good throw down to second base, but Carraro, sliding to the backside of the bag, was able to touch it just before the tag was applied. And Noah Carraro has his 5th stolen base of the year. If he had been caught there, as he nearly was, would have been the first time all year. 1-0 to Peterson, misses outside, 2-0. It's off the glove of Jake Thole, but there is no advance. I'm actually a little surprised that Carraro didn't make a run for third base. I'm not sure he would have made it. I think he would have. I don't think he recognized immediately just how far that ball had gotten away from Jake Thole. 2 balls, no strikes on the Saints' number 8 batter. John Peterson takes a breaker over the inside corner, strike 1. 1-0, St. Francis leads in the bottom of the second inning. They've got a runner at second base, 1 down. Peterson in the box, Schultz is on deck. Ball outside, 2-2, or 3-1 rather. 3-1 on John Peterson. Vanderwall just walked Adam Cebulka, trying to avoid back-to-back free passes from a guy who's only walked 15 this year. Peterson swings on 3-1, bounces it down the third base line, and it's just foul. It really was just foul. It looked like it was gloved right behind the bag at third base, but apparently twisted foul before it got there. So far, a long second inning for John Vanderwall. Saints are trying to extend it further. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Peterson swings and lines it out to left field over towards the line, making a sliding catch is Sam Herzog. Carraro stays where he is, 2 down in the inning. Solid contact that time from Peterson, who has been struggling at the plate. But Sam Herzog made the play he needed to. Good work by him. Here's Bailey Schultz. Schultz is charged with the task of getting Carraro in from second base. He's a 161 batter with 6 RBIs. Hitter number 9 for the Fighting Saints today. There's a breaking ball for a called strike 1. Cebulka drew a 1-out walk. His pinch runner, Noah Carraro, stole second. He's been at second since there was 1 out. There are 2 now. Popped up by Schultz into right field. Kyle Fulcher over towards the line. Culture makes the catch and ends the inning. Despite the 1-out walk, the Saints don't score. They leave a man at second base. We go to the third, 1-0 St. Francis. Top of the third inning, 1-0 St. Francis has the narrow lead. 9-1-2 due up for Trinity Christian here in the third. Brandon Remersma leads things off against right-hander Michael Quirum. Quirum's first pitch is a strike. Quirum walked the leadoff batter of the ball game, and then the next batter came up and hit a double. Since then, he's retired all 6 men that he's faced. Popped up foul and out of play. He's 1 strike away from making it 7 in a row, as Remersma falls behind 0-2. Brandon Reamersma, the DH, hitting .307 with a homer, 32 RBIs. .452 on base percentage, lifted into left field here. Dolan Nicholson comes in. Nicholson makes the catch. Easy play for him, and we're back to the top of the order. And Sam Herzog. Herzog drew a walk on a full count pitch back in the first inning. That was the first at bat of the game. Second time up, Herzog takes strike one. Chris Baker stands on deck. Quirm has set down everybody but Herzog and Baker. Herzog takes a ball up and in. It's 1-1. The winner of this game will play tomorrow as part of the losers bracket final. Ball outside, 2-1. Or sorry, the winner of this game will play later today rather than tomorrow. The loser will not play anymore. Ground ball to the right side. The first baseman has it. Farron takes it to the bag. 2 down. The loser of this game heads home for the year. And if you're the case of St. Francis, they don't have to go very far if they lose because this is their home field. However, they'd rather be playing on it than just hosting. Trinity Christian trying to bounce back from a Game 1 loss to roll on into the semifinals of the losers bracket later today. Baker takes ball one. Chris Baker 1 for 1 with a double. 1-0 pitch. Popped up, shallow left. Backing up is Krob. Krob stays on the infield to make the catch. The inning is over. Ever since giving up the double to Baker in the first inning, Quirm has hardly been challenged. 9 in a row retired. We head to the bottom of the third. 1-0 St. Francis. One nothing St. Francis, bottom of the third, top of the order for the Fighting Saints. Schoonover, Krob, and McGuire set to face John Vanderwall for the second time. Both pitchers have followed similar scripts so far. Michael Quirm let the first two batters reach and has since retired 9 in a row. Travis Schoonover takes ball one. John Vanderwall let the first two men that he faced reach base. Since then, he's gotten 6 out of 7. Schoonover's got one of the 2 hits today for St. Francis, bidding for another one. He pulls it foul to the right side into the seats. It's 1-1. He doubled back in the first inning, right down the first base line. Later came in to score, and to this stage, that's the only run of the game. Breaking ball low and in. 2-1 on Schoonover. John Vander Wal has not been nearly as economical early on as Michael Querim has. Called strike over the inside corner, 2-2. With St. Francis in the batter's box, there's been a lot more consistently long at bats. That ball is popped up to shallow left field. Backing up as the third baseman Nile makes the catch for out number 1.
The shortstop, Dustin Crowe.
Dustin Krob is 1 for 1. Krob's first inning single has his batting average back under, or back over, I should say, 300 for the year. It's been there most of the season. Dipped down to 299 after a tough showing on Saturday. There's strike 1 called. It's been a tough day so far for John Vander Wal. He's already nearing his 50th pitch of the afternoon as he misses the outside corner, 1-1. Trinity Christian's got a good pitching staff, but the majority of it is the front end. They don't have a ton of depth. Ball high, 2-1. In a tournament like this, usually your depth and your relief corps is threatened. This is the third game, meaning 27 total innings over the span of the last 3 days. Popped up by Crow, foul to the right side and out of play. That evens it, 2-2. Joe McGuire waits on deck. Nobody on base with 1 out in the bottom of the third inning. Crow takes a ball in the dirt, 3-2, another full count. He's walked only 1 so far today. 4th time among 11 hitters that he has gone to 3 balls. And again, his control has not been quite where it usually is. Fouled back by Crow. Big part of the reason that he's been hit for so many foul balls. It's another long at bat here with 1 out in the bottom of the third inning. Three and 2. Popped up, right side, foul territory. This one may stay in play. It will not. It lands in the dugout of Trinity Christian. Goes as a foul ball. Ryan Stayskull did have room to make the catch. It landed atop the railing in front of the first base dugout and then hopped over the fence. But if Stayskull knew where he was on the field, he would have been able to get there and reach over a little bit. But he never really seemed to locate the ball in relation to where he was and how close he was to the dugout. Didn't want to run straight into it. Still 3-2. Fly ball left field down the line and foul out of play. Still 3-2. Krob has seen 8 pitches so far in this at bat. Still just 1 out in the inning, but Vander Wal's been on the mound for a while now. Desperately seeking this second out. And he may finally have it as it's tapped by Krob up the middle. Gloved by a charging Caceres at second base, and his throw to first is in time. Four in a row retired. 8 out of 9. It's Joe McGuire. McGuire's 0 for 1. Came up with runners at the corners, nobody out in the first inning, but could muster only a shallow pop fly. First pitch to him with the bases empty is over the inside corner for strike 1. There's a ball low and outside. 1-1 on McGuire. Another long inning for Vanderwall, as I've mentioned. Despite the fact he hasn't allowed a base runner, he's thrown nearly 20 pitches in the frame. This is his 17th. McGuire flies it into left center field. Chris Baker drifts back on it. Baker makes the catch and ends the inning. 1-2-3 go the Saints in the third. Nice work by John Vanderwall. Despite the elevated pitch count, he's mowing them down so far. We'll head to the top of the fourth inning. 1-0 St. Francis. Jake Thole leads off the fourth inning for Trinity Christian, trailing St. Francis 1-0 after a third of the ball game has gone by. Thole is 0 for 1 as he takes ball one outside. In fact, Jake Thole's at bat back in the first inning may have been an early turning point. He came up with runners at second and third, nobody out. Put a very good swing on an 0-1 pitch from Michael Querum and seemed to have an RBI, at least one, in the books as he flies this ball out to center field. Bailey Schultz tracks it into the right center field alley and makes the catch for out number one. Leadoff batter retired in the fourth inning, and getting back to Thole's first inning at bat. They were at second and third, nobody out. He had a hard line drive to the left side. If it had gotten through, at least one run would have scored, maybe two. Instead, Dustin Kroeb made a great diving catch. Saved at least that one run, and since then, Querum hasn't allowed a base runner. He's set down 10 in a row. And now he faces the third baseman, Alex Nile. He takes strike one. The Trinity third sacker is 0 for 1 in the ball game. He also came up in a good RBI situation in the first inning. With runners at second and third and one out, he popped out to shallow left field. The runners were not able to advance. He takes a ball outside. It's 1-1. An out, nobody on. Michael Querum and company trying to keep their season alive, as are the Trinity Christian Trolls. Kind of a weird situation coming into this game. Popped foul and on a play to the right side, 1-2. Both teams are geared up for a doubleheader because the winner will play next. The winner of this game plays at 4 o'clock, at least a 4 o'clock scheduled time, depending on how long this one goes. But the winner takes on Robert Morris in that game later this afternoon. Ball high, 2-2. And of course, the loser's season is over. So you come to the ballpark expecting to play a doubleheader, but if you lose game one, you just head on home. Liner out to left field, down the line. That's a foul ball. Just foul. Nile missed extra bases by inches there as it landed just beyond the St. Francis bullpen, but wide of the left field line. Count remains 2-2, and he'll see a sixth pitch. Querum had thrown only 16 pitches total in the second and third innings. So this is one of the longer at-bats of the game. The fact that Niall will see at least 6 pitches from Quirum. Line drive to the right side and a diving grab made by Peterson. The infield defense for St. Francis has been superb today. 2 down. That was a near mirror image of the catch made by Kroeb back in the first inning. Line drive to the left side. Kroeb made a diving play to his right. And a line drive to the right side of the infield here. And Peterson makes a diving lunge to his right to rob Niall of a base hit. 2 away. Michael Quirum just threw his hands up in celebration after that catch was made. He knows he's gotten some big help from his middle infielders today. Josh Caceres takes a ball up and away, 1-0. Caceres popped out to the shortstop in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. Time called before the next pitch. Quirum trying for his 3rd consecutive 1-2-3 inning. John Vander Waal's been nearly as good. Ball outside, 2-0. Quirum has allowed just 2 base runners through 3 2/3. Vander Waal has allowed 3 base runners through 3 innings, and he's given up the 1 run. Ball 3, 3-0 on Caceres. First 3-ball count on a Trinity batter since Sam Herzog walked to lead off the ball game. Josh Caceres has drawn 18 walks this season, and there's number 19. 4-pitch free pass given out by Quirum to Caceres. It's 2-out base runner for Trinity Christian, and the first man aboard since the first inning. That brings up Will Kulcher. Kulcher. Will Kulcher is 0 for 1. He struck out on 3 pitches in the second inning. That's the only strikeout for Quirum so far in the game. He takes a ball in the dirt, 1-0. 5 straight misses from a guy who had been hitting his spots very consistently up until that point. Michael Quirum suddenly has found some control problems. There's a bunt, third base side, picked up by the catcher. Sobolka's throw to first. Got him by half a step. Great play by Adam Sobolka to catch Will Kulcher, who thought he had a bunt hit on his hands. Instead, the inning is over. A 2-out walk is the only thing that breaks up an otherwise fantastic defensive inning, and the Trolls leave a man at first base. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 St. Francis. St. Francis has a 1-0 lead as we move into the bottom of the 4th inning. Middle of the order due up for the Fighting Saints. Farron, Tesh, and Nicholson. Anthony Farron has the game's only RBI so far. He got it on a first inning ground out. Ground out won't score a run here. He's looking to get the inning started with a base hit. But the last 5 batters have been retired by John Vander Waal, who misses inside for ball 1. St. Francis's offense has been stifled the last couple of games. They've been held to just 2 runs over 12 innings since the start of play on Saturday, facing some of the best that their conference opponents have had to offer. There's a pop-up, foul territory to the right side, not a play. Count is 1-1. That's what happens when you get to the conference tournament. Only the best are out there as far as pitchers go, but one thing that is always interesting is the fact that you've got so many games in such a short period of time. Farron squares to bunt, but misses on it. It's 1-2. There's St. Francis's best power hitter trying to bunt his way aboard, which shows how good John Vanderwall has been so far. Farron not able to get it down, so the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. And now he strikes out swinging, chasing one low and outside for the first out of the inning. First strikeout of the ball game for right-hander John Vanderwall. For as well pitched as this game has been, there have only been 2 combined strikeouts. That's kind of surprising. Here's Josh Tesh. Tesh is 0 for 1. He flew to left field to end the first inning. Ball 1 outside. The start of the tournament, Friday, Saturday, everybody's throwing out their aces, their top couple of guys, and then you get to the Mondays and the Tuesdays of the tournament, and you see the back end of starting rotations as Tesh takes a strike. It's 1-1. Most of these teams are playing more often in a shorter period of time than they do at just about any juncture of the season, except for maybe those early season tournaments that everybody seems to play in. Tesh checks his swing and takes the ball inside. The count is 2-1. So it's the teams with the best pitching depth that sometimes end up on top. Ball inside, 3-1 on Tesh. This Trinity Christian rotation goes pretty strong 4 deep. So they've certainly got that working in their favor. Strike called over the outside corner, 3-2. Tesh thought he had drawn the walk. Just 1 walk issued so far today by Vanderwall. He's got 1 strikeout, and he's got Tesh in a 3-2 count. 1 out, nobody on base in the bottom of the 4th. Vanderwall's pitch. Ground ball to the left side. Ranging to his left and scooping it up is Austin Wood, the shortstop. His throw to first is in time. 2 up, 2 down, 7 in a row, retired by Vanderwall. Here's Dolan Nicholson. Nicholson flew to center, leading off the 2nd inning. Getting now his 2nd at bat of the game. And trying to keep the 4th inning alive. He swings to the first pitch. It's it high in the air, shallow right center. Long run in for Baker, but he gets there and makes the catch. The inning comes to a very quick close. We've played 4 full innings here in Joliet. Our score remains St. Francis 1, Trinity Christian 0. Into the fifth. I think we can officially call this one a pitcher's duel. 1-0. St. Francis leads Trinity Christian. We've seen just 3 total hits in the game, and none of them have come after the first inning. Bottom of the order to up for Trinity Christian against Michael Quirum. It's Austin Wood leading things off. Wood swings the first pitch and fouls it away for strike 1. Wood, Stayskull, and Remersma, due up for Trinity Christian. The 0-1 to Wood. Up and away for a ball. The count is even. Michael Quirum walked the leadoff batter, Sam Herzog, then gave up a double to Chris Baker. After that, he retired 11 consecutive before Josh Caceres' 2-out walk in the 4th inning broke that up. Wood fouls it away. It's 1-2. Quirum then got out of the inning on a bunt from Will Coulter. He was retired by about a half step, 2-3. And now Wood leads off the 5th. He takes ball 2 to even the count. Robert Morris hanging out in the seats along the first base line behind Trinity Christian's dugout right now. There's a pop-up shallow right field. Backing up is the second baseman Peterson. He makes the grab, and there's the first out of the 5th inning. Robert Morris was the road team earlier today against Roosevelt, and you got to think that the Eagles are hoping St. Francis wins because St. Francis is in their home uniforms right now. If Trinity Christian wins, then both teams are wearing their road grays. It'd be chaos. Of course, they could change, but that could be chaos too. Here's Ryan Stayskull. He swings and lifts the first pitch out to right field, down the line into foul territory. Schoonover chases it and runs out of room. Out of play, strike 1. Ryan Stayskull grounded out to the shortstop in the 2nd inning. Again, that Robert Morris game is coming up right after this one. The winner of this takes on the winner of the previous game, and the previous game was Robert Morris. They shut down Roosevelt 6-0. Popped out to shallow right field. Peterson going back. Schoonover coming in. It drops between them. It's a bloop base hit for Ryan Stayskull. And the Trolls have a man on base for the first time, or I should say they've got a hit for the first time since the 1st inning. First time they've had a man on base since the 4th, so it hasn't really been all that long. But that little bloop single is the first safety since Chris Baker doubled into the right center field gap back in the 1st inning. Here's Brandon Remersma, 0 for 1 with a flyout. He squares to bunt, pulls back, takes a ball, a pickoff throw down to first. Pretty close play. Stayskull does get back in front of the tag. Count is 1-0. Tying run over at first base. We're in the top of the 5th. This is a big out to get for Michael Quirum here, because once you get by Remersma, you're back to the top of the order. And Murderer's Row for Trinity Christian. Breaking ball misses inside, 2-0. Remersma was looking to bunt on each of the first 2 pitches, potentially giving himself up in this at-bat. You know, I say that after him you get to Murderer's Row, but he's a .307 hitter. So it's not like this is an easy out. Swing and a miss. It's a hit and run. The runner on the move is out by a country mile at second base. Stayskull tagged out, 2 down. So they had the bunt on the first 2 pitches on 2-0. Heisman pulls off the bunt sign and goes with the hit and run instead. And it leads to a caught stealing as Remersma can't connect with the pitch that was high and out of the strike zone. And Stayskull is thrown out at second base by Adam Sabolka. Foul ball by Remersma. The count now 2-2. So there's your big out for Quirum, even if he doesn't get the number 9 batter here. He's got the bases empty for the time being. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Quirum, quick pitch outside, ball 3. Sam Herzog waits on deck. The count is full on Trinity Christian's designated hitter. Brandon Remersma watches strike 3 go by to end the inning. A breaking ball that Reamersmo is just frozen on. It's the second strikeout of the ball game for Michael Quirum. We're halfway through this one as we head to the bottom of the fifth. 1-0. St. Francis's first inning run holding up so far.
The catcher, Adam Cibulka.
1-0 St. Francis in the bottom of the fifth inning. 7, 8, 9 due up for the Fighting Saints. Adam Cibulka, John Peterson, and Bailey Schultz. Cibulka walked in the second inning. No official at-bats for him. That's the only walk thus far for John Vanderwall, who hasn't been able to catch a break in this game. He's pitching brilliantly. And he's found himself trailing the entire way as he misses with ball one on Cibulka. Only run of the game came on an Anthony Fair, an RBI ground out in the first. There's a swing and a miss. And the count is 1-1. Travis Schoonover led off the bottom of the first inning with a double. And then Farron, a couple of batters later, brought him home on that ground out. And it's been 1-0 ever since as Cibulka pops this one up on the infield. Just behind the pitcher's mound, the catch is made by the third baseman, Alex Nile, for out number one.
The second baseman, John Peterson.
This is the best run of the game right now for John Vanderwall. He's retired 9 in a row, and he's got 13 of the last 14 batters that he's faced. Of course, you're going to get impressive numbers like that when you've only allowed 3 base runners all game through 4 1/3. Called strike one on John Peterson. A lot on the line here. Winner plays right after this. The loser's done. Ball high. 1-1 on John Peterson. Roosevelt earlier today became the third team to be eliminated in this tournament. Low and in. 2 balls, 1 strike on Peterson. Started with 8 on Friday. Everybody is guaranteed at least 2 games. Indiana South Bend and St. Ambrose were eliminated on Saturday. Ball outside, 3-1. St. Ambrose in devastating fashion. They lost 17-16 in that game on Saturday afternoon. The 33 runs scored in that game were more than double all of the runs combined the rest of that day. Peterson takes ball 4, and he is aboard. That snaps the string of 9 straight retired. Second walk issued by Vanderwall. In 12 innings on Saturday afternoon, Roosevelt beat St. Ambrose 17-16, so 33 total runs in that game. There were 3 more games played the rest of that day, and those 6 teams combined to score 16 runs. Bailey Schultz shows bunt but takes a ball, 1-0. That's 5 straight misses from John Vanderwall. Vanderwall's walk to Peterson was the first walk since the second inning, only the second walk of the game. First base runner since that second inning walk. Schultz swings on 1-0 and pops it up in foul territory. Behind home plate, it's playable. Jake Thole makes the catch. 2 down. Schultz was looking to bunt on the first pitch. Ended up taking ball 1. He was given the swing sign on 1-0 and he popped out to catcher Thole. So we're back to the top of the order and Travis Schoonover. Schoonover doubled and scored a run in the first, the only run. Popped out to third base in the third inning. Earlier today, Roosevelt became the third team eliminated from the tournament, and in about an hour, 2 hours at the most, you would think, we'll have our fourth team eliminated. It's going to be either St. Francis or Trinity Christian. Called strike 1 on Travis Schoonover. So then we'll have just 2 games left today. The 4 o'clock game is Robert Morris against the winner here. 7 o'clock game is Olivet Nazarene and St. Xavier. Pitches a strike, runner takes off for second, and Peterson is out at second base. The inning is over. The bottom of the 5th goes very similarly to the top of the 5th. There's a walk, but a caught stealing, and no real scoring threat. We head to the 6th. St. Francis still leads Trinity 1-0. Top of the order for Trinity to up in the 6th inning against Michael Queerum, who's pitched a brilliant 5 innings so far. He and the Saints lead the Trolls 1-0. Sam Herzog leads off the 6th inning, 0 for 1 with a walk. Herzog is hit by the first pitch, and he is aboard to lead off the 6th inning. First hitter that Michael Queerum has hit with a pitch today. It's only the 4th time he's done that this season. To go along with 2 walks in today's game, uncharacteristic of Queerum, who had only walked about 1 guy per start coming in. He had 17 combined walks plus hit by pitches in 12 starts this season. Today he's got 2 walks, 1 hit batter. And the leadoff man is aboard for Trinity as Baker drops a bunt down the right side, picked up by Queerum, who tosses it over to first for the out. It's a sacrifice for Baker, 1-3. Herzog advances to second base. And he is the first man to reach scoring position for Trinity Christian since the 1st inning. Herzog at second, 1 down for Jake Thole. Thole is 0 for 2. He lined out to a diving Dustin Krob at shortstop in the 1st inning. Flew out lazily to center in the 4th. 1-0 St. Francis. The Saints and the Trolls have 2 hits apiece. Ball 1 outside. Ryan Staskell's single in the 5th inning is the only hit for either team since the 1st. And he was quickly erased on a caught stealing. Pickoff throw to second, and Herzog back in safely. One 1-0 on Jake Thole. One out, one on, 1-run game. A lot of zeros up on the scoreboard ever since the first inning. Ball low and away. Count is 2-0 on Thole. Quirum checks the runner at second base. Sets for the 2-0 pitch. And Thole fouls it away. That's the first strike on any hitter this inning. Herzog was hit by the first pitch. The first pitch to Baker was a sacrifice bunt. And the first two to Jake Thole missed the strike zone. But now Quirum's got something to work with. 2-1. Here's the pitch. Outside, 3 balls and a strike. Quirum's just over 60 pitches for the game, so he's in good shape there. Hasn't had to face too many high pressure situations. They don't get much more high pressure than the first inning when Trinity had runners at second and third, nobody out in the heart of their order coming up. But nothing really has happened since then until now, as Jake Thole takes ball forward. Third walk issued by Quirum today. He's been much more wild today than usual. Trinity has not put a ball in play yet this inning on a swing. There was the one bunt, but they haven't swung the ball into play, and yet they've got 2 on base with only 1 out. Batter is Alex Nile. 0 for 2, he's flown to left and lined out to second, robbed by a diving John Peterson back in the 4th inning. Starting to get late now. This could be the key moment of the ball game here for Michael Quirum. Another pickoff throw to second. Close play this time, but Herzog is back in. You never know when the key moment. It could turn out when all is said and done that the first inning was the key moment. Then again, Trinity could score 8 or 9 runs going forward, and we'll have forgotten all about what happened in the first inning. Ball 1 outside on Nile. Well, one thing's for sure, Quirum is not throwing strikes right now. He's missed the zone on 6 of 8 pitches this inning. He's walked a batter, he's hit a batter, and he's fallen behind Alex Nile here, 1-0. Make it 2-0 as he misses outside. Very uncharacteristic for one of the better control men in the conference. 14 walks in 78 2/3 innings coming in. Today, 3 walks plus 1 hit batter in just 5 1/3. Quirum hasn't gotten a lot of ground balls today. He could go for one right now. There's a strike. He needed that. Count is 2-1. Little action going on down the left field line right now as St. Francis gets Evan Doan stretching. Another pickoff throw to second, and that time there was nobody even covering the bag. Herzog easily back to the base. Quirum has thrown to second base 3 times since Herzog's been over there. Paying a lot of attention to the base runner right now, the lead base runner in particular. 2-1. Check swing, foul tip. And the count is 2-2. Josh Caceres waits on deck. Again, Quirum looking to get out of the inning with a ground ball. He's only gotten 2 ground balls all game. On non-bunts anyway. Trying to get out of the inning that way. He's only got 2 strikeouts as well, but he wouldn't mind one of those right now. That would be the second out if he can get it. 2-2. He steps off the rubber. A little jeering going on from the Trinity Christian cheering section right now as Quirum is taking a lot of time between pitches now at this critical juncture of the ball game. He has slowed down his pace considerably. Dealing with the base runners has helped things in that regard as well. As Nile fouls it away, still 2-2. The only 2 hits for the Trolls today are a Chris Baker first inning double, a Ryan Stayskull 5th inning single. The only 2 hits from St. Francis came from the first 2 batters of the game. Travis Schoonover's double and Dustin Kroeb's single. Ball in the dirt, good block by Cebulka. The count has gone full on Nile. 3-2, 1 more ball now will load the bases. Querim in some 6th inning trouble. He is still pitching with the lead. That lead is in jeopardy. Nile could tie it up with a base hit. Querim steps off and looks Herzog back to second again. No throw that time. But again, trying to keep Herzog close. Payoff pitch, righty to righty. Nile takes ball 4 outside. 3rd free pass issued this inning for Querim. He has fallen on hard times here. He still has not been hit hard all game, but he has completely lost his command in the 6th inning. Evan Doan is throwing in the bullpen, and Brian Mahalik is walking out to the mound. Probably just to try to settle down Michael Querim right now. Querim dominant through 5 innings. And he has shot himself in the foot here in the 6th. Josh Caceres is going to be the batter. Caceres, a .337 hitter with 39 RBIs this year. Has a chance not just to tie the score, but to give his team a lead, potentially even a multi-run lead. Tying run over at 3rd. The go-ahead run is at 2nd. And there's another one at 1st and one in the batter's box. On the other side, John Vanderwall has been so good today that Querim knows he can't really afford to give up anything here. The 1 run, of course, would only tie the score, so wouldn't be the end of the world for Querim, but still trying to keep him scoreless as he looks for that ground ball from Caceres now. Josh Caceres takes the first pitch low, and I'm not sure what the call is here. I think a balk. It looks like a balk was called. Everybody advances a base. We're tied at 1. I was confused by it because Caceres ran all the way down to first base. He was not actually granted the base. He just felt like a jog. But it's a balk. Everybody moves up. That means Herzog scores. Thole is at 3rd. Niles at 2nd. And we're tied at 1. No pitch yet to Caceres. Now the first one is fouled back for strike 1. First 5 innings were outstanding for Querim. The 6th has been a disaster. He has not allowed a hit. In fact, he hasn't had anybody put the ball in play against him except for Chris Baker's sacrifice bunt. But he is making mistake after mistake in the 6th inning. Now trying to calm himself down and get out of this one. Caceres swings and misses at the off-speed pitch. 0-2. Strikeout would be big here. Infield is in. The 0-2. Line into center field. That's a base hit for Caceres. Thole scores. Here comes Nile around 3rd base. He's held up. It's an RBI single for Josh Caceres and a 2-1 Trinity lead. For the first time today, they are ahead. And still just 1 out with runners at the corners in the top of the 6th inning. First hit of the inning for Trinity. It's an RBI base hit for Caceres, just their 3rd hit of the game. Now here's Will Coulter trying to add to the Trinity lead. Coulter is 0 for 2. He's grounded out on a bunt and struck out swinging. He takes ball 1. That's the 10th ball thrown this inning by Michael Querim, compared with 8 strikes. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Hit by pitch, a walk, a balk, and then a single. 1-1. Coulter bunts it foul. 1-2. Alex Nile is coming in down the 3rd base line there. Looked like they had the safety squeeze on, but it goes into foul territory, and it's simply a strike on Will Coulter. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Querim glances at the runner at first. His next pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. 2nd out of the inning. 3rd strikeout of the game for Querim. It's the 2nd time he's gotten Coulter. And that's a big strikeout. He still trails But if he can hold Trinity to 2 runs, he can get out of this inning with a little bit of positive feeling still. St. Francis will come to bat with the top of the order in their half of the 6th inning. Strike 1 over the outside corner on Austin Wood. Wood is the 7th batter of the inning. Herzog walked, Thole walked, or Herzog was hit by a pitch, I should say. Thole and Nile both walked to load the bases. The balk scored Herzog, and the RBI single from Caceres scored Thole. Fouled back by Wood. Count is 0-2. Two runs, 3 hits, no errors for Trinity. 1, 2, and 0 for St. Francis. Querim is ahead of Wood, 0-2. The next pitch, taken outside for a ball. Runner goes. And now they've got him in a rundown. He is tagged out to end the inning. Caceres tried to get himself caught in a rundown so that Nile would have time to score, but he was tagged out pretty promptly. And therefore Caceres, or I should say Nile, didn't have enough time to cross the plate. So the inning closes on the caught stealing. 2 runs score for Trinity in the 6th on just 1 hit. They leave 1. On our way to the bottom of the 6th, the Trolls lead for the first time. It's 2-1. Two to 1, Trinity Christian leads St. Francis in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's an elimination game here on day 3 of the CCAC tournament, and the Saints bring the top of their order up against John Vanderwall in the 6th. It's Schoonover, Kroeb, and McGuire. Travis Schoonover is 1 for 2 with a double. He takes a ball outside. Schoonover was in the batter's box in the 5th inning when John Peterson was caught stealing to end it. So he gets a fresh start to this at-bat. He had been behind in the count 0-2. He drives this ball into right center field. That ball finds the gap. It's a base hit for Schoonover, and extra bases as it goes to the wall. Motoring around second base, he's thinking about third. Here comes the relay throw. Schoonover is safe. A good throw may have had him at third base. It was just up the third base line a little bit. And that cost the Trolls enough that Schoonover was able to get in there just ahead of the tag. A leadoff triple for Travis Schoonover, and the Saints have the tying run just 90 feet away from the plate with nobody out. It's odd how much these teams have followed one another. Every time Trinity has a good offensive inning, the Saints tend to do the same. And every time they have a bad inning, so too do the Saints. Dustin Kroeb swings the first pitch, grounds it to third. Schoonover started for the plate. Now he slips, and he's in a rundown. They chase him back towards the plate. It's Vanderwall with the ball in his hands, tossing it back again. Rounding second, heading all the way to third is Kroeb. The throw to third base is in time. It's a double play. A double play, 2 down in the inning. I'm not even going to try to sort that one out. I'll figure out the ruling on that later. Schoonover was in that rundown for so long. Kroeb made it all the way to second base easily. He tried for third, and Schoonover was tagged out just a little bit too quickly for Krob to be able to make it into third base. So base running gaps by St. Francis and good defense by Trinity Christian has eliminated the early base runner, and now nobody on with 2 down for Joe McGuire. 2-1 Trinity leads in the bottom of the 6th. McGuire's 0 for 2. He's flown out to right and to center. He lines the first pitch out to center field. Baker comes in but has to play it on a bounce. So that's a 2-out single. Saints are hitting the ball pretty hard here in this 6th inning. Not a lot to show for it as a result of the double play, but they do have a runner on with Anthony Farron coming up. Farron is 0 for 2. Struck out swinging in his last at bat. It's the only strikeout of the game for John Vanderwall. Farron also has an RBI on a first inning ground out. This time hits a hard one-hopper right at the second baseman. Josh Caceres takes it to second himself. It's an inning-ending fielder's choice. It's just a 5-pitch inning. Despite 2 hits, the Saints don't score in the bottom of the 6th. We head to the 7th, 2-1 Trinity.
Top of the 7th for Trinity.
6 innings down, 3 to play here in Joliet. St. Francis and Trinity Christian battling to stay alive in this CCAC tournament. First pitch from Michael Quirum to Austin Wood is flown over the head of center fielder Bailey Schultz and out to the center field wall. Wood around second base, heading for third base, and it's going to be a leadoff triple for Austin Wood. Just as the bottom of the 6th began with a triple for St. Francis, the top of the 7th begins with a 3-base hit for Trinity on the very first pitch. Bailey Schultz misjudged it. I'm not sure he would have had a play anyway, but once it went over his head, an easy 3 bases for Wood. And that brings up Ryan Staeskel with a big insurance run just 90 feet away. Saints had that leadoff runner at third base, did not score. As Staeskel takes ball 1, but we've got another balk. That's the second time that Quirum has allowed a run to score on a balk. He had not balked all season coming in. He's balked twice today, and both times with runners at third base. It's 3-1 Trinity. In the bottom of the 6th, when St. Francis had a runner at third base, nobody out, they didn't score as a result of a bizarre double play. Checked on the scoring between innings, 5-2, 5-1, 6-5-2, I think. I don't think I missed anyone in there. But 2 outs were recorded on the rundown. No such luck for St. Francis defensively. The Trolls get the leadoff man to third base, and they score him without even a pitch being thrown. And it doesn't look like Quirum will throw any more pitches either. Brian Mahalik makes his way out to the mound. Right-hander ready down in the bullpen. And no signal yet made to the pen, so we'll see if they do want to go with Evan Doan or going to stick with Quirum for a little while longer. They'll stick with Quirum for a little while longer. Through 5 innings, Michael Quirum was about as good as he could have been. In the 6th inning, he ran into big control problems, and it cost him in a major way. He gave up 2 runs despite only 1 hit in the inning, and that 1 hit was a single. Here in the 7th, Trinity has scored again, and Staeskel takes ball 1. The first pitch of the at-bat did not count. The balk was signaled before the pitch came in, so that was officially the first one to Staeskel, and now the second is over the outside corner for a strike. The count is 1-1. 4 hits now for each side, but the Trolls have a 2-run lead as they've scored 3 unanswered runs. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. A very warm morning has turned into a somewhat cool afternoon. Seasonably cool, though. Ball high, 2-2. Still good ball playing weather. Just the potential for some rain coming in later. Hopefully doesn't affect this game. May affect some of the later ones, and keep our fingers crossed about that as well. Staeskel fouls it away. Still 2-2. This will be the 6th pitch of the at-bat. Quirum sets and delivers. Fouled back off the screen. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brandon Riemersma's on deck. Sam Herzog will follow him. If anybody reaches this inning, we'll see Chris Baker. If anyone more reaches, I should say, there's already 1 run in. Austin Wood hit the leadoff triple and then scored on the balk. Strike 3 called. Staeskel goes down looking. 4 strikeouts now for Quirum through 6 1/3. And the batter is Brandon Riemersma.
The designated hitter, Brandon Riemersma.
He's flown to left. He has struck out looking. The Trolls DH is 0 for 2. Ball 1 on the breaker from Quirum. 5, 6, and 7 in the St. Francis lineup will be due up in the bottom of the 7th inning, trailing by at least 2 runs as Riemersma grounds it to short. Scooped up by Krob. His throw to first is in time for out number 2.
The left fielder, Sam
Back to the top of the order, it's Sam Herzog's turn at bat. Herzog's had a good day at the plate despite going 0 for 1 with a ground out. He's been on base 2 of his 3 times up. He has scored 1 of the 3 runs. He walked in the first and was hit by the first pitch of the 6th inning. He flies this ball out to right field, shallow. Schoonover steps in, makes the grab, and ends the inning. Leadoff triple, a balk, and a run for Trinity Christian. Quirum bounces back nicely by retiring 3 in a row. But the Saints are in some trouble as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 3-1, Trinity Christian at the stretch. Trinity Christian's got a 3-1 lead in the bottom of the 7th inning as Josh Tesh leads things off for St. Francis. Tesh, Nicholson, and Cebulka are the scheduled batters, facing John Vanderwall. Vanderwall's thrown 6 strong innings thus far. He's allowed just 1 run on 4 hits. 2 of those hits and the only run came in the first inning. Tesh swings at the first ball and grounds it right to the third baseman, Alex Nile. The throw across the diamond is in time for the first out. Good start for Trinity here in the 7th. Tesh is 0 for 3. And the batter is Dolan Nicholson. St. Francis led the majority of this game 1-0. Trinity scored 2 in the top of the 6th. 2 walks, a hit batter, and a balk got them on the board, and then an RBI single. And they scored on a triple and a balk in the top of the 7th. Dolan Nicholson takes a strike. Nicholson has flown to center field twice. He's 0 for 2. The 0-1 outside for a ball. One out, nobody on base. 1-1 pitch. Chopper down the first baseline, foul. It's 1-2. Maybe the biggest moment in the game was not the 2 runs in the 6th or the 1 run in the 7th, but defensively. The play that Trinity Christian made in the bottom of the 6th inning after Travis Schoonover hit a leadoff triple to put the tying run at third with nobody out. Dustin Kroeb came up and hit a ground ball to third base. Schoonover was going on contact. He would have been out by a mile at home plate, so he got himself in a rundown and was eventually tagged out. Dustin Kroeb made it to second base and tried all the way for third on the Schoonover rundown, but he ultimately was tagged out as well. It was a crazy double play, and it effectively ended the St. Francis threat. 2-2 on Nicholson. He swings and pops it up, left side, foul, out of play. Still 2-2. One out, the 2-2 pitch to Nicholson. Bounces a foot in front of the plate. Count goes full. John Vanderwall has walked 2 batters today. Nicholson trying potentially to become the 3rd with Adam Cebulka waiting in the on-deck circle. Payoff pitch. Ground ball up the middle, out over second base, then into center field. It's a 1,000 hopper right in between Caceres and Wood. A base hit for the Saints, their 5th hit of the ball game. And they'll bring the tying run to the plate. Not a day where we're likely to see somebody tie the score with a home run. Wind is blowing in. This is always a pitcher's park regardless. 327 down the right field line, 348 out to left. 400 to straightaway center field. It's a high wall out there. Adam Cebulka 0 for 1 with a walk. He rolls the first pitch foul for strike 1. That left field wall was extended back last year. So it's a little bit tougher now to hit home runs even than it used to be. 0-1. Grounded foul to the third base side. 0-2 on Cebulka. Nicholson's at first base with 1 out. Bottom of the 7th inning. Just past 3 o'clock here in the Central Time Zone. Day 3 out of potentially 5. Definitely at least 4 in this CCAC tournament. Here's the 0-2 to Cebulka. Outside for a ball, 1-2. If the winner of tonight's St. Xavier Olivet Nazarene game wins again tomorrow night, it'll be all she wrote. If not, we'll have a championship game on Wednesday. Cebulka lines it into left field. Coming on to make the catch is Sam Herzog. Nicholson back to first base, 2 down. Hard hit ball by Cebulka. Put right at Herzog, an easy play. The batter is John Peterson. Peterson lined to left in the second inning. He walked in the fifth. 0 for 1 officially on the stat sheet. He takes ball 1. Nicholson takes his lead from first base. Good speed, but not really a stolen base scenario here. Peterson fouls it away. Count goes to 1-1. Robert Morris beat Roosevelt today 6-0. Their whole team patiently awaits the result of this game so they can get ready to go again. 1-1. Popped up by Peterson behind home plate and out of play. It's 1-2. Bailey Schultz stands on deck. 1-2 count. Vanderwall sets. Here's the pitch. Outside for a ball. 2-2. There's a right-hander throwing in the bullpen for Trinity right now. Vanderwall creeps up to just about 100 pitches for the game now. Rain is falling lightly. Ball 3 outside. The count is full. That was the 102nd pitch by my count for Vanderwall today. Payoff coming up to Peterson. Popped foul and out of play. He'll see another 3-2 count. Looks like maybe Zach Heisman. I think that's Zach Heisman warming up in the bullpen at the moment. 3-2. Nicholson on the move. Peterson fouls it away. That's 7 pitches in the at-bat so far, an 8th coming up. Good at bat here for Peterson, trying to keep the inning alive for the number 9 hitter. Vanderwall pitches out of the stretch at all times. His 3-2 is lined into left field, a base hit for Peterson. Nicholson was on the move with the pitch, so he easily makes it to third. And they are at the corners. Runners at the corners, 2 outs on 2 singles this inning. Tying run on base for St. Francis. Here's Bailey Schultz. Schultz is 0 for 2. He's flown to right and popped out to the catcher. He may not be facing John Vanderwall here. It looks like the call has been made and we're going to get a pitching change. With the Trolls leading the Saints 3-1, Vanderwall pitched to Jem. He is done for the day, and in comes Heisman. I'll get you his numbers in just a moment. Rest of the inning coming up. Runners at the corners, 2 outs, 2-run game in the bottom of the 7th. With runners at the corners and 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, Trinity leads 3-1, and they've called on a new pitcher, right-hander Zach Heisman. Heisman is on for the 18th time. He's 1-1 with a 5.4 ERA. 21 2/3 innings. He's given up 18 runs, 13 of them earned on 26 hits, with 11 walks, 6 strikeouts. Opponents are batting .329 against him this year. He faces Bailey Schultz. Schultz swings at the first pitch and grounds it to short. Picked up cleanly by Austin Wood. Flips over to second. The inning is over. Quick 6-4 fielder's choice. Heisman throws just one pitch, gets out of the jam, and we head to the 8th. 3-1. Trinity has the lead. Chris Baker leads off the 8th inning for Trinity. Baker 1 for 2 in the ballgame with a double and a sacrifice bunt. He takes the first pitch from Michael Quirum for strike 1. We're underway in the 8th. 3-1. Trinity has the lead. They scored 2 in the 6th, 1 more in the 7th. Michael Quirum, the starting pitcher for St. Francis, still on the mound as Baker flies one high and deep out to right field. Schoonover going back to the wall. He turns around, watches that one leave the yard. A solo homer for Chris Baker makes it 4-1 Trinity Christian. Baker goes deep for the 7th time this year. RBI number 39. And the Trolls have scored 4 unanswered over the last 3 innings. And it looks like that'll be all for Quirum as Brian Mahalik pops out of the dugout. 2 pitches thrown this inning. Quirum done for the day. So we've got a pitching change here with the bases empty and nobody out in the 8th. The Trolls have extended their lead to 4-1. Top of the 8th inning, 4-1. Trinity Christian has the lead on St. Francis. New pitcher on the mound for the Fighting Saints. Right-hander Evan Doan making his 15th appearance, 12th as reliever. He's 4-1 with a 5.31 ERA. In 42 1/3 innings, he's allowed 28 runs, 25 of them earned on 57 hits, 22 strikeouts, 14 walks. Opponents are batting .324 against him this year. He relieves Michael Queeram, who went 7 innings and allowed 4 runs and only 5 hits. His problem was walks. He had 4 of them and hit 1 batter. He also had 2 balks, which forced in runs. Queeram was great for the most part. Just had the hiccup in the 6th primarily. Ball inside, 1-0 on Jake Thole. Baker's home run to lead off the 8th inning chased Michael Queeram from the ball game. And now both starters are done. It'll be the bullpens from here on out as Thole drives one out to deep left center field. Long run back, Bailey Schultz can't get to it. The ball bounced past him and to the wall. Thole's got himself a leadoff double. I should say a no-out double. Not a leadoff double, the leadoff batter homered. And against the new pitcher, Thole doubles, and suddenly this vaunted Trinity Christian offense has come to life. The offense that has been awesome for the Trolls all year. They had been held to only 6 runs over the first 2 games plus 5 innings of this one, and now all of a sudden they seem like they can't be stopped. 2 runs in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, and now a man at second base with nobody out for Alex Nile. Looks like we got a pinch runner over at second base as Nile swings and misses for strike 1. Alex Nile is 0 for 2 with a walk. A new runner for Trinity at second. Didn't get a number on who it was. Ball high. Count is 1-1. Looks like Morgan Nowitzki is the runner at second base. Standard pinch runner for the Trolls this season. Ball outside, 2-1. Nowitzki has played in 41 games. He's hitting just .063. He's got 1 hit all year and 16 at-bats. But he has scored 34 runs. Gives you a pretty good idea of what his main role is. Inside and off the foot of Alex Nile. He is hit by the pitch, and he takes his base. That puts him at first and second. Still nobody out. In the top of the 8th inning, Trinity is threatening to turn this into a runaway after they had trailed most of the game. It's been a very good pitcher's duel, and here comes Brian Mahalik. Evan Doan may have a very short day behind him. It looks like Hunter Morawski is going to be brought in out of the bullpen. Doan is done after facing just 2 batters and throwing only 6 pitches. He didn't retire either of them, and we've got another pitching change here. I'll be back to get you the numbers on Morawski. And the conclusion of the 8th inning, just a moment, 4-1. Trinity leads. Hunter Morawski is the 3rd pitcher of the inning for St. Francis. Morawski on for the 19th time. He's 2-2 with a 1.95 ERA and 7 saves. In 27 2/3 innings, he's allowed 8 runs, 6 of them earned on 29 hits, 9 strikeouts, 18 walks. Opponents are batting .276 against the right-hander this year. typically the closer for St. Francis, but with the season on the line, Brian Mahalik's pulling out all the stops and bringing in Morawski now to face Josh Caceres. Caceres bunts the first pitch up into the air, right side, picked up by the first baseman Farron, who throws to second and gets the force. Alex Nile simply wasn't running. Could have made it to second base easily, but Farron took advantage of the fact that Nile wasn't really paying attention to the play. Instead of sliding easily, safely into second base, he just kind of casually walked to the bag, and he is out because that would have been a bunt hit. There was nobody covering first base. Caceres had first easily. There was no chance to throw to third and force out Nowitzki. So the Saints catch a break and a heads-up play as well by Farron. One down in the inning. And with a 3-run lead and runners at the corners, Trinity will bring up Will Coulter. Coulter shows bunt, but takes strike one. So no sacrifice for Caceres. It goes as a fielder's choice. 3-6 on the putout. Oh, 1 on Will Coulter, the right fielder. He's 0 for 3. Pickoff attempt to first base. Caceres back in safely. One run is in already this inning for Trinity. That on the Chris Baker homer. Jake Thole followed up with a double. Alex Nile was hit by a pitch, and that was all for Evan Doan. The home run was allowed by Michael Quirum. So Quirum faced one batter. Doan faced two. This is now the second man that Hunter Morawski is going up against. And he's got a 1-1 count on Will Coulter. Morgan Nowitzki takes his lead from third base. The 1-1 pitch. Line drive out to left field. Dolan Nicholson reaches up and makes a nice running catch. Nowitzki tags from third and scores. It's 5-1 Trinity Christian. That one could have been more damage than it was, though, had it not been for a nice effort from Dolan Nicholson, making a good running grab. Coulter picks up the RBI. That's his 30th this year. A 4-run lead for Trinity as they've scored 5 runs unanswered over the last 3 innings. Caceres remains at first base after the flyout, and the batter is Austin Wood. Wood is 1 for 3 with a triple and a run scored. He takes ball 1 inside. Top of the order due up for St. Francis in the bottom of the 8th inning. They're in some trouble now. 4 runs. This is the largest deficit they've faced. Line drive into center field. Bailey Schultz steps back and makes the catch. The side is retired, but not before 2 more runs score on 2 big hits, including a homer from Chris Baker. We head to the bottom of the 8th, 5-1. Trinity Christian on top. Bottom of the 8th inning, St. Francis up to bat. They've got some work to do. They trail 5-1. They'll bring the top of their order up. Travis Schoonover, Dustin Krob, and Joe McGuire. Facing Zach Heisman, who got the final out last inning. His first pitch to Schoonover is swung on and missed for strike 1. Heisman threw all of 1 pitch last inning. Came in with runners to the corners and 2 outs and pitched out of the jam. The 0-1 to Schoonover. Downstairs for a ball, 1-1. Travis Schoonover's had a nice day at the plate, 2 for 3 with a double and a triple. He has scored the only St. Francis run. 1-1 is flown into shallow left field, down the line, into foul territory. It's playable for Herzog. He makes the grab, 1 down. The rain has picked up here at Route 66 Stadium. Not pouring, but it's coming down pretty steadily now. Dustin Krob comes up for the 4th time. Krob is 1 for 3. Singled in the first, grounded into a bizarre double play in the 6th. 5-2, 5-1, 6-5-2. That's, I believe, how it went. He swings and misses for strike 1. He was tagged out at third base by the catcher at the end of the play. I can tell you that much for sure. Ball low and away, 1-1. That was a killer play for St. Francis because they nearly brought the tying run home. And instead, a double play erased the runner at third. Fouled off. Left side, it's 1-2. St. Francis has been almost unbeatable on this field this year. During the regular season, they went 19-4 at home. Krob is hit in the side with a Heisman pitch. He'll take first base. Here's Joe McGuire. Saints went 19-4 here during the season. One of those 4 losses was to Trinity Christian. They're 1-1 on this field during the CCAC tournament. It seemed like that would be the huge home field advantage for St. Francis, getting to play their CCAC tournament games here at their home, but so far it hasn't worked out that way. Strike 1 called on McGuire. Trinity, for what it's worth, was one of the few teams in the CCAC that actually had an above 500 mark on the road. They were very good as the away team, 12-7 on the season. Only Robert Morris had a better road record this year at 13-5. The 0-1 is grounded to third base. Nice scoop by Nile. He throws to second for 1. The throw over to first is in time, a double play. 5-4-3. The 8th inning is over. St. Francis not able to get a rally going, so we'll head into the 9th. Trinity Christian has a 5-1 lead. Top of the 9th inning, Trinity leads St. Francis by 4. They'll try to pad their lead one more time with Ryan Stayskull leading things off. First baseman is 1 for 3. He swings the first pitch and shoots it into right field, a base hit. First pitch swinging, Ryan Stayskull singles off of Hunter Murawski. Leadoff man reaches for the Trolls for the 4th consecutive inning. Previous 3 times it's happened, they've scored every time. Here's Brandon Riemersma. Check that. We got a pinch hitter here. Frank Romano is coming up. Frank Romano is the batter, 12 for 27 on the season with 4 RBIs. And he gets the 9th inning at bat with a runner at first and nobody out. Frank Romano is a junior from Elmhurst, Illinois. He bunts it foul for strike 1. Romano is getting his first at bat of the tournament, and I believe it's his first appearance of the tournament as well. But definitely the first time he has come up to hit. Trinity Christian is 3 outs away from a date with Robert Morris in about an hour. The 0-1 taken for a ball. The count is even. That Robert Morris game against the winner of this one scheduled to begin at 4 o'clock. It won't. This one's gone a little bit too long for that, but depending on what happens the rest of the way here, it should be pretty close to the scheduled time. Pitch inside for a ball. Runner goes. Throw to second is in time. Out at second base for the second time today, Adam Cebulka catches a runner trying to steal. Ryan Stayskull is out number 1 this inning. Just the second stolen base attempt for him this year. He's been caught both times. The count is 2-1 on Romano. He swings and grounds it to the shortstop. Dustin Krob circles, gloves on the charge, takes a crow hop and throws to first. Not in time. That extra little hop from Dustin Krob cost him. Didn't have enough time to throw Romano out at first base. Romano, you can see, runs very well. And with 1 out, the Trolls have another base runner. 2 hits this inning. Thanks to the caught stealing, though, there is an out and just 1 runner on base. Here's Sam Herzog. Herzog is 0 for 2. He's been on base twice. He bunts it down the third base line. Picked up by Morawski. There's a bobble, and everybody is safe. Sam Herzog is aboard on the pitcher's error. Romano up to second base. 2 on, 1 out for Chris Baker. So Herzog still doesn't have a hit. He's on base for the 3rd time today, though, and I guess that'll go as a sacrifice. E1. Morawski just couldn't get a clean grip on the ball. It is raining out there, at least it has been. I think the rain has stopped for the moment. Ball in the dirt. Romano's going to try for third. The throw has him beat. The tag is there, I believe. He is out. Romano took a risk going to third base on a ball in the dirt. Cebulka had it blocked. Romano took off anyway. He was out by a good 10 feet, or at least I should say the throw had him beat by a good 10 feet, but the throw was in the dirt. Josh Tesh did not pick it cleanly, but he still had time to gather and apply the tag just ahead of Romano touching third base. So 2 outs on 2 caught stealings. It's 1-0 on Chris Baker, who homered his last time up. He takes a strike, 1-1. Herzog stayed at first base, and that whole hubbub over at third. Pick off to first now from Morawski, and he's back to the bag safely. So officially, that play at third base goes as a caught stealing, even though Romano was trying to advance on what would have been a wild pitch if he had made it successfully. Baker knocks it up the middle. That's a base hit. Chris Baker's got his 3rd hit of the ball game, a single to go along with his double and his homer. He's 3 for 4. Herzog up to second base. 2 on, 2 out for Jake Thole. St. Francis has been a little bit lucky this inning. I should say they've been partially lucky, and partially they've been fortunate to have the strong arm of Adam Cebulka behind home plate, because 2 caught stealings are the only reason that Trinity has not scored this inning. Morawski has not retired a hitter. He did commit an error early in the frame, so in a sense, I guess Trinity's been somewhat fortunate as well, getting an extra base runner. Jake Thole is 1 for 3 with a walk, a double, and 2 runs. He swings the first pitch. It's a sky-high foul to the left side, not a play. Strike one. Five to 1, Trinity Christian leads. They trailed 1-0 in the 6th, but they've dominated the game ever since. Thole hits a bouncing ball down the third base line. It's a foul ball, and the count is 0-2. They scored 2 runs on just 1 hit in the 6th, thanks to 2 walks and a hit by pitch. In the 7th, a triple and a balk gave them their 3rd run, a homer and a sacrifice fly in the 8th. Padded their lead to make it 5 to 1. They've not yet scored in the 9th, but there are 2 on base as Thole takes the ball outside, 1-2. 3 straight innings they've scored at least once. That's the active streak coming into this. One ball and 2 strikes on Thole. Morawski trying to put an end to this 9th inning. Instead, he puts Thole on first base. He hits him in the back, and the bases are loaded. That's 5 straight men to reach for Trinity, but thanks to the 2 base running mistakes, they have not scored a run. They're threatening, though.
Third baseman.
Herzog's at third, Baker's at second, Thole is at first. Alex Nile is the batter. He has walked, he's been hit by a pitch. Officially 0 for 2. That's now 3 Trolls who have been hit by pitches today. Foul ball, straight back by Nile, strike 1. 3 hit by pitches, 4 walks. A lot of free base runners for Trinity. They've earned quite a few of their own as well. They've got 9 hits in the game. They had only 2 of them through 5 innings. 6 ever since. Line drive into center field, and that's another base hit. Picked up on a hop by Bailey Schultz. Herzog has already scored. Baker around third. He's across the plate. A 2-run base hit for Alex Nile, and it's 7-1 Trinity. And 6 consecutive batters have reached for them. And that should be their 9th hit. The scoreboard's got them at 10. I've got them at 9. One of us is off. You knew it didn't add up when I said they had 2 and they've got 6 since then. It adds up to 9. Something wasn't right there. There's a line drive into right center field. Could be another hit. Schultz will have to play it on a bounce. Nile scores, Thole scores. Nile heads to third base. A single for Caceres. His 2nd RBI of the ball game. And it's suddenly a blowout for Trinity Christian. We had a great pitcher's duel throughout this one, and Trinity has run away. And that's it for Hunter Morawski. Morawski faced 7 batters this inning. Every one of them got on. And he is done for the ball game, and it looks like he's likely done for the season now, unless St. Francis has a miracle comeback in the bottom of the 9th inning. We got a pitching change here. I'll tell you all about it in just a moment. 8-1 Trinity in the top of the 9th. Top of the 9th inning, Trinity Christian leads St. Francis 8-1. New pitcher on for the Fighting Saints. It's their fourth of the day. Right-hander Tyler Domi. Domi is on for the 12th time, his 10th as a reliever. He's 3-2 with a 6.15 ERA. In 26 1/3 innings, he's allowed 22 runs, 18 of them earned on 31 hits, with 20 strikeouts and 17 walks. Opponents are batting .287 against Domi this year. First man he faces is Brent Norkus, who takes ball one outside. Norkus is getting his first at bat of the day. Came on as a defensive replacement in right field last inning. Norkus swings on 1-0 and flies it high in the air, shallow left. Dolan Nicholson comes in, makes the catch, and ends the inning. First batter of the inning to be retired after the first 7 all reached base safely. 3 runs score in the top of the 9th for Trinity Christian. They leave a pair, and as we head to the bottom of the 9th, it's 8-1. Trolls on top. Bottom of the 9th, St. Francis needs at least 7 runs to keep their season alive. Anthony Farron, Josh Tesh, and Dolan Nicholson are due up, facing right-hander Zach Heisman. Heisman has pitched an inning and a third so far without allowing a hit and just 1 base runner. Farron is 0 for 3 with an RBI. And he takes the first pitch over the inside corner, strike 1. Great senior season for Anthony Farron. Hit .395 coming into today. 5 homers. He's got 37 RBIs now. He pops this one into right center field. Chris Baker over on it. Baker makes the catch. 1 away. That brings up Josh Tesh. Tesh is 0 for 3. Fly out and a couple of ground outs. And Tesh, another guy who's had a really good season at the plate, but has struggled the last couple of games of this tournament. 0 for 7 over the last 2 days. Heisman sets for the first pitch. Tesh bounces it to third base. Gloved on a few hops by Nile. The throw to first is low, but a good pick over at first made by Stayskull for the second out of the inning. And the Saints are down to their final out. Trinity Christian on the verge of setting up a doubleheader for them. They'll play Robert Morris next if they get this final out. That game's scheduled to begin about 40 minutes after the conclusion of this one. Dolan Nicholson 1 for 3 with a 7th inning single. He's flown out twice. Last hope for the Fighting Saints. He pops it foul to the left side and out of play. Strike 1. Heck of a job done today so far by Zach Heisman. He's faced 6 batters. He's retired 5 of them, plus a double play. Swing and a miss, 0-2, and now he's 1 strike away from ending the ball game and moving on to play Robert Morris. Trinity then would be 3 wins away from winning the tournament. Ball low, 1-2. They would have to beat Robert Morris, and actually, I take that back. They'd be 4 wins away. They'd have to beat Robert Morris, and then win the consolation or the losers bracket final tomorrow afternoon, and then a couple of championship games as well. Still in the pictures, Nicholson grounds it to first base, picked up by Stayskull. He carries it to the bag himself, and Trinity is moving on. 3 unassisted on the final play of the game, and 8-1 is your final score. as the Trolls of Trinity Christian College defeat the Fighting Saints of the University of St. Francis 8-1 in a game that was much closer throughout than the final score would make it seem. It was really a thriller for about 7 innings, and then the Trolls just pulled away. They scored 5 over the last couple of frames. Let's go back over the scoring in this one because it started in the first inning with St. Francis. Travis Schoonover doubled, Dustin Kroeb singled, and then an RBI groundout from Anthony Farron made it 1-0 in favor of the Saints. And then both pitchers were simply outstanding. Michael Quirum at one point retired 11 consecutive batters. Didn't allow anybody in scoring position after the first inning until the 6th. His counterpart, John Vanderwall, just about as good. Vanderwall at his best retired 9 in a row, and 13 out of 14 really wasn't threatened after the run scored in the first until the 6th for him, too. It was 1-0 in the top of the 6th. Trinity got back on the board as Herzog was hit by a pitch. Thole walked. Nile walked to load the bases. A balk tied it at 1-1, and then a Josh Caceres RBI single made it 2-1. Then in the bottom of the 6th inning, St. Francis got the tying run to third base on a leadoff triple from Travis Schoonover, but Schoonover on a ground ball from Dustin Kroeb got caught up in a rundown between third base and home plate. He was tagged out. Kroeb was tagged out on the plate, trying to make it to third base on the rundown. A double play ended that threat, and that was about all she wrote for St. Francis's offense. For Trinity, they kept piling on. In the 7th inning, Austin Wood tripled and scored on a balk. In the 8th, Chris Baker homered. Jake Thole doubled and scored on a sac fly, and then they put it away once and for all with 3 runs in the 9th, a 2-run single for Alex Nile and a single RBI for Josh Caceres on his 2-out base hit. That made the final score 8-1. Trinity Christian picks up the victory. Final totals from today for the Trolls: 8 runs, 11 hits, no errors. For the Saints, 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error. St. Francis's season is done. They finish a strong 2018-19 campaign with a record of 29-22. They went 20-9 in conference play, but they wrap up after 3 games in the conference tournament. For Trinity Christian, they improve their record to 29-19-1, and they move on to play Robert Morris in just over a half hour. They'll take on the Eagles in another game in the losers bracket to try to get them out of the hole and get them back to the championship game. Both teams very much in play. Robert Morris and Trinity Christian playing in about 30 to 40 minutes right here in Joliet. We'll have that broadcast for you. Tom Westenfeld will be on the call. That'll do it for me, though. 8-1 the final score here. Trinity defeats St. Francis. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off from Joliet. Enjoy the rest of your day.